I love foldables, as you know, and the iPhone is due to have a foldable in 2026. Literally, this time next year, it should either be announced or released, or a month or two after that, like October, November, it would be released. But the latest on it is that it's going to look like two foldable iPhone Airs side by side, like that kind of look to it. And this is reportedly kind of what it's going to look like overall, which is kind of cool, kind of interesting. It's due to be probably about $2,000. They do say in the article that, which kind of doesn't make sense to me, so I don't know why they would say iPhone Airs. It could be a little bit thicker, potentially a little bit heavier than, and this is what we've been hearing the whole time, than like the Galaxy Z Fold 7, potentially the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. So it's like, if you're putting in two Airs, they just mean the dimensions of that, like the size, but it'll be thicker. I think it would be really cool if they come out with this and it's literally as thin as the iPhone Air. I don't think it could be. I mean, it could be, I guess, but if they could do that, that would be a huge sell. But the more the rumors we're hearing about the folding phone is that it's going to be more passport style, like the original Pixel Fold, and not so much like this kind of fold. But I can't imagine they're gonna put, I do imagine they're gonna put something that looks a little bit different than the rest of the competition. I don't think they're gonna put out a folding phone that's like, oh, here it is. It looks just like everybody else's. I can imagine them putting out a passport style foldable, or a folding phone that's maybe even thinner than what everyone is expecting, like thinner than even this phone. They're gonna do something. I can't imagine they're gonna put out a regular looking foldable phone like the way that the new Pixel Folds look, or that the way this looks, or that the way the Chinese phones look, because they all relatively look kind of similar. They might be varying degrees of thinness, but the look of them is all the same. It is supposed to keep the book format, you know, like you close this like a book. It is supposed to keep that kind of format, so it would copy these, but I think like the way that it looks, is it short and fat, or wicked skinny and looking like two phones stuck together? That's what we could have. But then we also have that Samsung's gonna be releasing a wider version of the folding phone next year. Two folding phones, like this kind of version, and then one that's wider on this inside display. So we'll wait and see what Apple does, but we got a really big leak for One UI 8.5. Now, I have a feeling that these features that we're gonna talk about are gonna launch with the S26 phones. So you're probably gonna have to wait till January or February, but we know about them right now. And there are a bunch of new AI features that are really gonna make your life a little bit simpler and more fun to use with the phone. The first one is Touch Assistant, which processes on-screen text to improve readability and usability. Whatever that means. I don't know if it's gonna, I don't think it's gonna physically make it easier. It's probably more of, if you don't understand something that's written, it'll simplify it for you. Not just you having to like select some text and like, oh, what does this mean? Kind of like you could do with Circle to Search. I think it'll just take whatever's on there and simplify it. It could be images on a photo, it could be with words on it, it could be a paragraph written, it could be a bunch of things. Next would be Smart Clipboard. It expands your copy and paste with AI options like correct, translate, and summarize. So on your clipboard, you have your copy and paste features. Within that, you're now going to be able to, with AI, correct if something's incorrect, with spellings and punctuation and stuff like that, translate if it's in another language, and summarize it all with these new Smart Clipboard. Social Composer, this one's actually pretty cool. AI helps auto-generate posts, reviews, and other social content. So if you're on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or any other social platform and you're trying to think of something to write, you'll now have a social composer built in that will allow you to do this. Now, I don't know if this is gonna end up being something more built into Galaxy keyboard, Samsung keyboard. I don't use it. I think they already have this thing anyway, if I'm not mistaken. So I would, hopefully it's with Gboard and any other keyboard that you use, but I guess we'll wait and see. Next would be Meeting Assistant. You'll get real-time translations during meetings or presentations. So it's gonna, I assume, again, it's gonna be during video calls, audio calls, where you're in a meeting like with Zoom app or something like that, where it'll give you real-time translations during meetings and presentations. Super cool. Wouldn't affect me at all. I don't think I've ever been in the meeting for my job for this YouTube thing and been like, don't know what that person's saying because they're speaking in another language. It's always been English, so I don't know how many times I would personally use this, but it's still, I guess it'd be a good feature for people that would run into this situation. UI refresh, floating buttons with transparent frosted glass. Oh God, I hope not. I hope they're not doing that like the way iPhone does it. I personally don't like the whole look of the iPhone. I don't hate it, like their UI, their icons and stuff like that, but man, if Samsung does that with frosted glass look like Apple, it's... Maybe I'll love it though, you never know. Beyond that, you're looking at this coming around, like I said, with the S26, which would be in Q1 of 2026, which again, most likely at the end of January or sometime in February. And then to follow that, this is all, again, this is One UI 8.5 and then 9.0 will follow later with the Galaxy Z Fold and flip phones in, what would that be, like July, August of 2020. The official specs leaked out about the OnePlus 15 phone. So I just wanted to run through this with you guys. So let's get to it. So what we got first is this is going to be the first phone in North America and among the first globally with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. This is the newest, fastest, best mobile processor in the world from this company. So it's going to be a big, massive processor. It's really, really powerful. Big gains on there overall. The dedicated display and Wi-Fi chips for optimized gaming and connectivity, obviously on there. The battery, 7,300 milliamps, carbon silicon dual cell battery, largest yet on a OnePlus device. That is absolutely insane. The Galaxy S25 Ultra is 5,000 milliamps. This phone is 4,400 milliamps. That's 7,300 milliamps, and it's got the new carbon silicon dual cell battery technology in there, which allows for it to get bigger milliamps, but the battery not get that big in terms of size. So absolutely amazing, crazy. 100 watt wired charging and 50 watt wireless charging. This is so super fast charging, huge batteries. It's insane. Next would be the camera and photography. You're looking at enhanced OnePlus Detail Max engine, computational photography algorithms, and with that, you know, I guess they've already announced that, but yeah, it'll have that in there. 32 megapixel front camera with autofocus. Great to have that on the front camera. Some major cell phones still don't have autofocus on that main camera. Customized Sony sensor for improved clarity and authenticity. Display, you're looking at a flat screen display, no curved here. Bezels 40% smaller than the OnePlus 13, 120 frames per second always on display, so it's great. Up to 165 hertz refresh rate, select gaming experiences. So not everything will be able to do that, but you can get up to 165 hertz, which is extremely smooth. SIM card tray confirmed to remain, not eSIM only. So this will be able to do physical SIMs. A lot of companies like Apple, I think Pixel as well, is Pixel? Maybe they're not, I don't remember. I know iPhone is basically eSIM only, but you will be able to use SIMs on the new OnePlus. What else do we got? That's pretty much it, what we got so far on there. But I mean, some big takeaways are, obviously it's gonna have the best processor in the world, most powerful mobile processor really in the world. It already, the benchmarks for the Snapdragon 8 Elite 5 are already better than what the iPhone just put out with their, what is it, the 819 Pro or whatever it is. And then you look at the crazy amount of battery on there, 7,300 milliamps, which is insane, up to 165 hertz on there for gaming. It's going to be a super powerful, highly spec'd out phone. Some new information that just came out about the Galaxy Z tri-folding phone. Some good stuff, some stuff that will be exciting if we're able to get it here in America and the other parts of the world. So I'm just going to read from my little leak sheet that I have right here. So constant continuity, did I say it right? Between cover and main display, you can start an app on the cover screen and then open the device and pick up where you left off. Now that's nothing new. If you have this phone and you start an app on this screen and then you open it up, it opens the app up. So it would make sense that you can do that. So that is carrying over to the trifolding phone. You can copy over home screen layout from the cover display to the main inner display, the big 10-inch display, similar to current Samsung foldable. So if you want your front display to look the same as your inside display in terms of the home screen setup, you're able to do that. And overall, that's gonna make things easier to find. But also you gotta think that I actually don't do that on mine, because what ends up happening is some of the apps that are all seeable on the main screen are not fully seeable on the front cover display because it's so thin. So I end up just creating its own home display for each one. You can have, with floating windows and multitasking enhancements, resizable windows, split screens, drag and drop window calls, etc. So the same kind of setup that you would have with floating windows and resizing those windows and multitasking multiple apps at the same time, it works very similar, if not the same, on this phone as it does on the new tri-folding phone. So, you know, it carries over that muscle memory and allows you to fully use the phone and not have to think like, this is a new way to do it. Similar software, but it's a little bit different. It's not gonna be like that. It's gonna be very similar. Then you have their Galaxy AI integration. Not a huge surprise. It can occupy a portion of the screen or be detachable into its own floating window. So when you use Galaxy AI, it's not gonna take up the whole display. It'll just be a little piece of the window, so you still have viewable surface space for everything else that you're doing on the display. Portrait mode flipping, the device can be used in portrait mode orientation in some UI flows. Okay, great. Kind of what you would expect when using the phone. You would expect to be able to use it, that when you do use it, you can use it in vertical or horizontal view. Camera has 100x zoom. I love this. This folding phone only has 30x. Not that I really need it all the time, but there are times, like, I know I've been here and I'll be like, I really want to zoom in and see what that person looks like, or I want to see if that's a sea turtle out on the beach or something, and having 100x would be a lot better than 30x. It will be 100x on the tri-folding phone. The DeX support, like other Samsung devices, tri-folding may allow desktop style usage when connected to external displays. That's not really a big surprise. It's almost on every device that they put out. I would love to see DeX on that display, kind of like you can use it on their tablets. It would be amazing to be able to use it on the tri-folding phone. I hope they add that. It doesn't say that they're gonna add it per these leaks and rumors, but it's really time they should. I mean, it should even be on this one, but definitely on the tri-folding phone, since the display is almost 10 inches. Beyond that, you're still looking at an October launch with probably a November release, still most likely coming out in China and Korea, but also the US and other parts of the world as well. The Galaxy S26 Ultra and the S Pen. Got good news, S Pen is still there, so if you were concerned with the S Pen being removed, don't be, it is still there, so that's all good and fine and plenty. And the big thing about it, and we got more to say about it as well, is this is gonna be, they've changed the top of it and what it's going to look like. So it has a more natural feel to it when you're gonna pull it out of the phone, and the overall design of it is just to feel more natural. And they'll probably gimmick that, meaning that they'll probably market it in a way that's saying, hey, now it's more natural in your hand feeling, and it's more natural to pull out of the phone. It's easier to pull out of the phone. That's probably gonna be one of their marketing schemes. One of the big things about the S25 Ultra S Pen was that it did not, they removed it, moved the Bluetooth functionality on the S25 Ultra. Now, the latest rumor on the S26 Ultra is that they still have kept out the Bluetooth functionality of the S26 Ultra S Pen. Now, I know a lot of people looked at that as a downgrade. I'm not an S Pen user myself. One of the things that I would use it more so than even writing would be as a way to take photos, but you can do that by raising your hand up or telling it to stop the video or whatever it may do. You have a multitude of ways of controlling your phone. You could even buy a little Bluetooth clicker if that was your main reason for it. But it looks like, yeah, S26 Ultra won't have the S Pen having Bluetooth in the phone, which again, good thing, bad thing, however you look at it. For me, not a big deal at all. But it's nice that it's still there. But the continuing rumors about the S line in general is, even though they have said in previous comments that, hey, we want and need the S Pen in our sub devices or some of our devices, it looks like eventually maybe the 27 or 28, or maybe even later than that, I think it'll be the 27 or 28, is that the S Pen would be completely removed from the S line. Now, obviously things can change. It might still be there forever or for 10 years, but that's some of the rumors that are building up to it. And it'll probably happen. If you think about the rumors that have happened over the years where, hey, we're getting rid of the Plus line. They didn't say that, but the rumors were, hey, they're gonna get rid of the Plus line and they'll only have the regular one and the Ultra version. But what happened was they got rid of the Plus line, at least this upcoming year, and they replaced it with the Edge. So I do expect them to probably get rid of the S Pen, especially as they want to get these phones thinner and lighter with less things in them so that you can just use them. Or maybe you'll be able to buy the S Pen separately and not have it sit inside of the phone if you still want to have it. Who knows what they'll end up doing with that. But as of this year, it'll have it. No Bluetooth functionality. It's changing a little bit in the way that it looks and feels in your hand, probably more comfortable, more natural feeling design behind it all. Today's video is all about the Galaxy Z Fold 7. And I saw a tweet and it was like, hey, we will probably never ever see as big of an upgrade as we have for the Galaxy Z Fold 7, like versus any other folding phone that they put out ever again. And I was thinking to myself, you know, like a lot of the things that happened with the Galaxy Z Fold 7, like the difference in, like the three major upgrades on there were the camera going from 50 megapixels up to 200 megapixels on that main camera, going from the thinness and the lightness of the 6 now to the 7 was a pretty dramatic effect on there. And then also the display sizes going from 6.3 or 6.2 and, or is it 6.3, whatever, 6.3 and 7.6 up to 6.4 and 8 inches. Like those were pretty big deals going from that Galaxy Z Fold 6 up to the Z Fold 7. There's some other things as well, obviously the processor and things like that. But like those three main things were a fairly gigantic move in the past. And it's good food for thought. Like, will we ever see anything that large again in terms of an upgrade? And I think to myself, you know what? Probably right. We probably won't see anything that dramatic again. And I say that because we're already at 200 megapixels on the main camera. We're not going to go see something from 200 all the way up to like 400 or 500 megs. I'm not saying the cameras won't get better, but the megapixels aren't going to be that dramatic of an effect. I don't imagine they will be. And then the display sizes, are we going to see anything go from like 8 inches all the way up to 8.5 inches? Probably not. It's probably going to max out, I would guess, around 8.2 or 8.3 inches for their just regular folding phones. Obviously, they have their tri-folding phone, which would be about almost 10 inches on the main display. But like on just a traditional folding phone, I don't think we're going to see anything that's absolutely crazy in terms of the size on that. And then also like the weight and the thinness of this. Is this going to get dramatically thinner and lighter? I think it will, but I don't think it'll be dramatic. You know, when you compare it year over year over year over year over year in terms of like that, maybe, but not like from one year to the next. I don't think it'll be a dramatic effect. Beyond that, the other things that will always, you know, be improved on it have to be the other cameras on there, or the processor, or the RAM amount, or the display, like the quality of the display, or any of that stuff. It's none of that. I don't think it's going to be a huge dramatic effect like it was in that 1 year of an upgrade. The 6 to the 7 is a fairly dramatic upgrade. The last time I think we saw something like that was probably like what, the Galaxy Z Fold 2 to the 3, or the 1 to the 2, really, probably, where the displays got bigger and better, and the phone just became more perfect for almost everybody. And then when they added the S Pen support and things like that, I think What they'd have to do really would be internal S Pen support, which they're not going to do because they want to make the phone thinner and lighter. They'd have to dramatically change the size of the displays. They'd have to dramatically make it thinner. They'd have to dramatically change the display in some kind of way and make it just something we haven't seen yet. Beyond that, I don't think we're going to see as big of an upgrade. Not to say that there won't be a reason to upgrade. It's just the dramatic effect of it probably won't be as large. What do you guys think? I'm actually curious to see what you guys think on that. So put it in the comments. Let me know. Have a great day. And next time I do this show, I should be, unless something's delayed or canceled, I should be in San Diego. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys down the road. Peace.